Next one we have a little bit of tea, a little bit of spiciness going on. We got a little bit of something, okay? A little bit of something here, which is exercise rattlesnake. U.S. Army's most hated unit gives UK troops hell. What?
It's extremely grueling. We always say that we stretch you to the point where we can see all your holes.
Joint readiness training, also known as exercise rattlesnake, is designed to test units' breaking
point. The Joint Readiness Training Center rotation is like a cricket bat in the face over and over again.
A cricket bat in the face instead of a baseball bat? Oh, precious. The Brits are coming. Oh yeah, we know. We've known that for a while. We've been calling it out. The British are coming. The British are coming.
I'm Sian Greszczak, and I'm joining the Welsh Cavalry as they spend 12 days in what's known as the Box, a feared training area that's being used to test troops to their limits.
That freaking bus. Oh, how I have such conflicted feelings about that bus. That is the bus they ship you into basic training. That is the bus they take you away in. Officers do not get that bus. They get a nice chartered bus. That is the bus of the people.
For decades.
The prison bus.
Meet Geronimo.
I think we are considered the most hated unit in the United States Army, and I think our soldiers...
Major Micah Chapman, Executive Officer, 1st Battalion of the 509th Infantry, Geronimo.
Really take a lot of pride in being the most despised unit that's out there.
Geronimo. So I have a lot of respect for Geronimo. I'm fighting somebody that has a ton of repetitions fighting here in this terrain that is going to absolutely give us every problem that we will likely encounter.
That's a colonel. That's a full bird for the Mountain Rangers Battalion. I guess I would assume it's them. That's a full bird. Let's go.
Are in combat.
They are effectively professional baddies. They're based at this training area and know every inch of it like the backs of their hands. Their mission is to give the visiting soldiers hell.
At the heart and soul of that is act in a way today that will force your adversary or your opponent to really have to deal with a lot of problems simultaneously. And when you do that, you overwhelm them and they start to create their own problems. And I think that is really what's at the heart of how we act and our mentality.
As usual, no prisoners. Questions?
Only 3. Let my guys push through. One dead G-man down the road.
And it doesn't take long for Geronimo to start causing problems. This, the aftermath of a surprise attack.
He got radio check before we switched them. So, get guns facing that way, push these guys across the road, and then you can bring those guys in back.
Within my battalion, there are about 627 soldiers assigned. For rotation, I also receive about an additional 427 soldiers assigned. For rotation, I also receive...
I don't know if you guys can't really tell. Oh, he's moving so fast. His watch is flipped inward. So instead of the face of the watch being on the outside, it's on the inside, which is another common way to wear your watch, because if you got to do stuff.
About an additional 400
also common
soldiers
for
who just arrived just
like
for the purpose of helping out for 1 month, and then they leave. In comparison, typically there are about 5,000 soldiers on average that will come here to train against us and fight us. So in terms of like overmatch, certainly we are the underdog, but that also plays into our favor in terms of why we're so hated is because we like playing as the guy who's operating against all odds.
Say during the day we do weapons maintenance and kind of rest because we mainly fight at night. So during the daytime we'll tend to do probe attacks sometimes, like make sure how their defenses are.
This is a specialist, so this is an E4, that little teardrop thingy, that little parachute looking little bubble.
For security, and then night time's normally when we hit them hard. if you could sneak up on somebody when they're sleeping and you kill them.
There is no depth perception in these. Just so you guys know, a lot of people get injuries when they put these on the first time. You can see things, but your depth perception is so bad. I have so many stories, I've had to document so many stories about people falling out of trucks or falling down into holes because you cannot see depth in this at all.
If you could sneak
Maybe
up on
in
somebody when they're
phosphorus you can,
sleeping,
I don't know.
and you kill them, and you just tell them go back to bed.
Sleep.
It's like one of the thirds, like okay, and roll over.
Just give you a look like, all right, I'm dead, and then just go back to sleep.
The enemy that we're up against, this is their full-time job, so they do this day in.
First Lieutenant Grant Hildreth, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 10th Mountain Division. Oh, this is 10th Mountain.
And day out.
Those are some
and
hardcore
it's going to be
people.
a pretty big hassle for us.
They also have off-the-shelf drones that they utilize to locate and
Oh my God,
target.
it's so cute.
And they have Nerf droplets that they drop to simulate grenades. So it's completely real world and working to...
Captain Joseph Ward, 3rd RHA, attached to a squadron, 1st the Queen's Dragoons Guard. Dragoons.
Real world and working to create the best way to strike the enemy, but using new technology.
Our goal is we must win. And the reason we must win as the opposing force is that we believe very firmly that units learn best by losing.
So you've got a real kit of parts, haven't you? Anything at your disposal to make life hell for...
Yeah, and these vehicles
That's
are all
nuts.
brand new. So one of the things that will kind of change about these is right now they just look like a plain pickup truck, but we also will mount police lights on them, ambulance lights,
Nice.
the orange flashing like construction worker or electric company, and so we can go out there and pretend to just be fixing a light pole and doing nothing, but we're actually utilizing that as an opportunity to maybe infiltrate a Wi-Fi network or just observe and report on activity that's in that area.
His job is to train this brigade and train us as hard as he can by...
That flight just got swatted by a colonel. Oh my God.
He's
Fly
already
better.
got his scouts out against
Better
me.
watch out.
So why is the enemy here called Geronimo?
Their lineage goes back to the 509th Parachute Infantry Battalion, and by legend, one of the first members of the 509th was also the first members of the test platoon. The rest of the members of his unit had, said that he was going to be scared. And so he said, I'm not going to be scared when I exit this airplane for the first time, one of the first U.S. paratroopers, and I'm going to prove it to you by yelling Geronimo when I jump out of the airplane, right? And so Geronimo being the very famous Apache warrior from Native American culture.
That's cool.
And so, true
That's
to his
cool.
word, when he exited the aircraft, he yelled Geronimo.
So what we're going to do, sir, just while we're off to that.
Meanwhile, Geronimo have now made contact with the Welsh cavalry.
We're going to get one of the antennas up, get onto 0. Tell them to stop dropping people in that area. Right. Because obviously the enemies have got eyes
Another
on the
mountain
calling
ranger.
mortars in.
The beginning of many battles ahead.
We've got lots of training areas in the UK. Some
Now remind me, that's a Ranger tab, right? Let me move it up so you guys can see it. Yeah, you guys can see it. That's a Ranger tab, correct? Not the Ranger scroll. Not a scroll. Okay, so just so you guys know, I misspoke earlier. I forgot tab and scroll. You can go to Ranger school, which means I think it's like a leadership school. It's a very difficult school. And then you can get your Ranger scroll. So all Rangers, I believe, get a tab, a scroll, and I think they also require a deployment patch before you're considered to be officially a Ranger. Yeah, it has extra stuff on this guide. So he went to Ranger school. He is not a Ranger. I think earlier in the video, I said he was a Ranger as well. The colonel looks like Ranger school. It's a leadership course. It's a very difficult leadership course. Okay.
The beginning of many battles ahead.
We've got lots of training areas in the UK, some of which initially could look quite similar to this, pine trees and ferns, but then they're very small. This is on a scale that is really great to work in because in the UK, you'll come...
If you've gone to Ranger school, you are a Ranger. You are just, you've just gone to Ranger school. You have to go through RASP. which is Ranger, what is it? Assessment, selection, no. Ranger School, it's some RASP. We just watched a video on that. You can have a tab, but unless you have a scroll, you are not a ranger. In order to be a ranger, from my understanding, you have to have a scroll, a tab, and have a deployment patch, and then you are an official ranger. Yeah, ranger qualified.
Across the same wood block or the same trees again and again. And when you've been on that training area a bit, you kind of know where the enemy are likely
Ranger
to be hiding.
Assessment Selection Program. Yes, thank you.
There aren't that many surprises, but in somewhere the size of this, we're constantly being surprised by Geronimo, discovering new areas and getting pushed and put to the test in a way that we just wouldn't be used to at home.
And what's it like having the Welsh Cavalry working alongside you?
So first and foremost, a phenomenal unit, incredibly professional, particularly their junior non-commissioned officers, their corporals and lance corporals, incredibly capable and professional and skilled at what they do.
So this time the British are here, you know, do they tend to give you more grief than the others?
Let's freaking
Honestly, no.
go! What does that say? The British are coming, the British are coming. Help our Turken forces fend off the imperialists. My fellow Arnold Kermsey's citizens. Set 1 lantern in your town if they've come by ground. Set 2 lanterns if they come by air. Sincerely, Paul Revere. That is awesome. That is awesome. Also, fun fact, I don't actually think it was Paul Revere, but we can get, I'm not going to get into history and things like that, but there was, from what I understand, I could be wrong saying this, but I'm pretty certain it was, I think Paul Revere might have said something similar. However, it was actually like a young 16-year-old woman in a farm town that went because something didn't light, I guess, and she went to like all the villages and gathered up, I don't know if it was like 30 or 300 men, that I forgot. I think I'm right though. It was like a 16-year-old that went and did it, like did the whole thing and got everybody correct. My memory is a bit fuzzy on that. Some people are saying correct. Was just one of the people, right? She ended up gathering, I don't know if it was 300 farmers, 30, whatever a big number was back then. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. So just fun fact.
They talk a lot of smack about each other, but when it comes down to it, when we finally actually train with each other, we look forward to it and learn from one another.
This isn't the Super Bowl. This isn't the end point. Sorry, that would be like the Champions League Cup. This isn't the end. This is just a point on our way to being ready. And ultimately, you know, we hope we don't have to compete in that really final event, real combat. And so this is meant to push us really beyond our limits to prepare us for that eventuality.
What's your message to the Welsh Cavalry?
I have no message for the Welsh Cavalry. I'll be there to shoot you soon.
Paste.
Next time, come with me as I explore the history behind Fort Polk in Louisiana. The state has been home to training US soldiers since before World War II. And a big exclusive with the head of Forces Command, 4-star General Garrett, talks about the importance of the defence relationship between the United States and the UK. Sian Grezczek, Forces News, Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Ah. Let me just see something. Okay, her name was Sybil Luddington. That's who was the one. She was a teenager. Her name was Sybil Luddington, who did the midnight ride like Paul Revere. And I think she ended up being personally thanked by the president during that time as well. Which is crazy.